All right, y'all. The Cleveland Cavaliers are red hot. Like, for real, they look indestructible right now. Seriously, they are what, 31-4? Y'all, they on pace to win 70 games. They really got a chance to legitimately win 70 games. This is a Cleveland Cavaliers team post LeBron James, for real. And I'm looking at this roster, I'm looking at this squad, how well they play together. Like, it's crazy, but people don't care about the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? And the question is, why don't people care about the Cleveland Cavaliers? Why don't most NBA fans care about the Cleveland Cavaliers? I know the casuals don't. But a big reason why people don't care about the Cleveland Cavaliers, one, because a lot of people think they're not going to win a championship, right? People look at this team and still, in spite of them looking great, only got, what, 4 losses on the season. They all play cohesively. They got dudes that can get buckets in bunches. And people still looking like, hey, yo, they not going to beat the Boston Celtics. People still think they're not going to beat the Celtics. So it's one of them instances where y'all remember when the Atlanta Hawks was going crazy in the Eastern Conference that year, when Kyle Korver was an all-star over there, Jeff Teague, now, they was all balling out, right? And they had a great record. They might have had the best record in the Eastern Conference or the NBA that season. Correct me if I'm wrong. And people still didn't really care because they felt like y'all not winning nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I think after they had the best record, they proceeded to get swept by the Cleveland Cavaliers that year. They did. After having the best record in the league, or one of the best record in the Eastern Conference, at least I remember, right? And I think it may be one of them situations, even though this team is much better than that Atlanta Hawks team. This Cleveland Cavaliers team is much better than the Atlanta Hawks team. But I think people looking at it like, oh, yeah, they'll do all this, but they're not going to win a championship. But I'm looking at this squad. I'm looking at the numbers. First of all, Jared Allen is the 4th leading scorer on his team. He averaging 14 points a game, 10 rebounds, shooting 70% from the field. Now, he's a big man, so, you know, they're going to shoot a higher percentage because they're right under the basket, but still 70% is excellent. You got Darius Garland averaging a dub, 20.4 points per game. What he averaging? 6 assists a game, something like that, right? 2.6 rebounds. He's shooting 49% from the field. Donovan Mitchell, right? 22.9 points a game, 23 points a game. 4 rebounds, almost 5 assists a game, shooting 45% from the field. Evan Mobley. Now, Evan Mobley, man, listen. Evan Mobley, nice. 6'11", they got them twin towers down there, rim protecting. That's what make them so hard to beat. They can seal off that paint, man. And they got athletic bigs. And Evan Mobley, not just a rim protecting guy, he could score 18.9 points per game, 8.7 rebounds a game, shooting, 57% from the field. Then you got Karis LeVert getting 11 a game. What to do? Ty Jerome getting 10 a game. They are a well-oiled machine. But again, another problem is they don't have a generational talent on their team or a superstar on their team. And that is why people don't care about them. They don't have a superstar or a star, like a real, like, because it's not really many superstars. A superstar, by my definition, is just something different than what people would call, like, Ant. I don't think Ant is a superstar. He's a star, though, right? But I don't think Cleveland don't have stars that people care about. Donovan Mitchell, nice, but people don't really care about Spider like that. You feel me? If you replace Spider with Ant-Man on this team, then I think people would be much more interested. I think because Ant got a different type of flair about him. Now I don't know if they will win as many games as they've been winning. I'm not saying Ant is terrible or he's not as good as Spider. I think Ant is a great player. I don't know how the chemistry would be if you put Ant in place of Donovan Mitchell, right? But Ant got a lot more flair than Spider. He got a braggadocious demeanor. He got a certain bravado that people like to watch when they're watching sports. You feel me? That Spider don't always just come out with that same type of bravado. He don't got that same type of, I always use this word, je ne sais quoi. His aura is just, Anthony Edwards' aura is just a little different. If Ja Morant was on his team, it'd be feeling a little different. You know, but because Like, the Cleveland Cavaliers players don't have a certain flair about them. I think it's the American public is not rallying behind them the way they would other teams. You know what I mean? And that's really what it is. One, I think they don't think they're gonna win the championship, and then two, they don't have that a star player with that flair to get people intrigued or enamored with the team. You know, like, who is somebody on the Cleveland Cavaliers that would make a casual want to watch? Now, I always say today's stars don't have the star power of a LeBron James or Stephen Curry at all, right? But the girls will watch Jason Tatum. They like how he look. Guys like watching Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum hoop as a tandem. And Ja Morant, a high-flying guy who got a certain type of cocky, arrogant demeanor. He got a bravado that a lot of the old school basketball players like because he always talking trash. He don't back down from nobody regardless of their stature in the game. And he plays with a flair, so people like that, right? Ant-Man plays with a flair that people really, really enjoy, that people gravitate to. If Kyrie was on this team, I think it would be a different attention to it because Kyrie, while he probably don't have the same type of demeanor that Ja has, he plays with it. And he got a flashy game. Super flashy. To where people will be like, yo, Kyrie on that team. We got to watch them. The Cleveland Cavaliers are they're not a sexy team. You feel me? For lack of better words. They're not, y'all know what I mean when I say that. They're not like what people would consider traditionally exciting. Or they don't have a star that has a certain flair that would get the American public going. If you drop Allen Iverson on this team, Shaquille O'Neal, if you drop a LeBron James, if you drop a Steph Curry on this team, all eyes would be on them. But they don't have players with that type of flair, you know, and that is the issue why people aren't gravitating to this team much. And because they don't have that type of flair from their star players, they're not on TV a whole lot from what I can remember. Has Cleveland been on national TV a lot this year? I don't think so. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. On national TV, I don't think they've been on TV a whole lot like that. You know, and I think it's because they don't have a star that got a flair or got that star power that could get the casuals to watch or, you know, could get basketball fans just to really, really tune in. You know, and they're lacking a superstar or star player who has that type of flair. And what's crazy is they probably could mess up the chemistry on their team. They mess around and be better suited to win the championship with this type of roster here. For real, they'd be better suited to win with this roster here. But because they got let me say this. When Detroit won in 2004, I don't think they were considered a sexy team at all. They weren't. But because they were the underdog in that series against the Lakers, they gained a lot of fans. Coming through the Eastern Conference, but really in that matchup, coming through the Eastern Conference, they gained a lot of fans. People started rallying behind Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton and Ben Wallace and Rasheed and all of them and Tayshaun for what they did and how they beat teams for sure. But their legend and their flair, I think, increased for how they handled Goliath, which was the 2003-2004 LA Lakers team. And I think the flair and bravado was added to them after they took down Goliath, that team. And so I think they're probably in a similar situation to Cleveland Cavaliers. They have a lot of great players on their team, but it's just not the superstar that would usually bring the headlines is not on this team. And that's why people aren't rallying behind them or gravitating to them. Now, Cleveland, the city of Cleveland and the state of Ohio, all around them boys, as they should be. They have a great team. Again, this team is on pace to win 70 games, y'all. This is incredible, like for real. And a lot of people never thought that a team could be assembled like this in a small market post LeBron James, because LeBron is a generational superstar, right? A lot of people feel like in small markets, you need a generational superstar to have this type of success on a team. And normally you do. Nobody on this team is a generational superstar. But they have great players, and combined together, they make a well-oiled machine. They are a absolute force. it kind of reminds me like in boxing terms. Errol Spence, my guy. Errol never did everything. He never was like super extraordinary in anything he did, but he was really good at nearly all, he was really good at a lot of other things. He was really good at things, at a lot of things. He wasn't extraordinary in one or two areas, but he was really good across a lot of different areas, which made him a force to be reckoned with in the welterweight division, you know? Now, until he ran into Terrence Crawford, and I say that, you know, with a bitter taste in my mouth because I love Errol Spence, but T-Bud was something different, and he's a generational fighter. But, and that is great. And yeah, Terrence was generational. Errol's Errol is a great fighter. Terrence is a generational fighter. That was the difference. But, yeah, this Cleveland Cavaliers team does not have a generational talent on the team, but they have players who are really, really, really good, and they do things exceptionally well. It's like with Errol Spence. He did a lot of things exceptionally well. He wasn't extraordinary he didn't have extraordinary attributes, but he did a lot of things exceptionally well, which rounded out for him being a great fighter. And they don't have a generational talent on his team, but all together combined, they are a great team, outstanding team. And as a basketball purist, it's great to watch them.